Good evening. Welcome to the Crafty Duck and our weekly podcast. My name is James and I'm going to be your host tonight. And we're going to be speaking to Neil from Rope Brewing. We're going to talk about where they've come from, what the beers are about, why wrestling, and just chat about him in the future of Rope Brewery. And we're going to welcome Neil into the chat right now.
Yeah, good evening.
Evening, mate. You all right?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm loving the t-shirt, mate.
Well, anything to do with sort of Simpsons and jokey and cartoon, punny, I'm all about. So yeah, 100%.
I've just got my 5 and 9-year-old girls into Simpsons, so yeah, we start at the beginning. We're on about season 6 at the minute, so we put some effort in.
So you've got another 4 seasons before it starts to go downhill, then?
More than 4, surely.
Nah, season 10 is like the peak where it's at.
Okay.
That's when you've got Principal and the Pauper, and then just that.
So you don't fart too much from me. So I just welcome you. This is Neil from Rope Brewery. For those who don't know, Rope are from Liverpool now.
We are officially back in Liverpool. Yes.
Is it Bootle?
Yes, Bootle is the official zone. It's it's as far north of Liverpool as you'd want to go, I think. Yes, very much so. Moved back there in January this year. For anybody who is aware of us beforehand, obviously James has had an extensive range of our beers. We were brewing in a site in North Wales. I'll just jump straight into the initial point, which is obviously Top Rope. We originally started in Liverpool, in one of the suburbs of Chilwell in South Liverpool. We started brewing in a shed in Ben's parents' back garden. Ben's our head brewer, because we were myself and Ben. We were home brewers. We met at a homebrew club in Brewdog in Liverpool. Became friends because we were the two of the guys that stayed behind after the events, talking about wrestling, getting drunk, and just kind of spiraled from there. We started homebrewing together in 2015. Brewed our first beers together. Sort of everything kind of carried on from there. We started to develop a few ideas, see how things progressed. Entered a few homebrew competitions, and then won a few of them. Got a bit big-headed. Got Ben's parents. Got Ben's parents very drunk one night and convinced them it was a good idea to let us build a brewery in their back garden. So the summer of 2016 was spent destroying their garden and fitting electricity and plumbing lines up the side of it to a shed with a 100-litre brew kit. We started brewing there. Went well for about a year or so, and then we were brewing 4 kegs a week, but selling 8 kegs a week, so we had to expand. We then purchased a site that was an active brewery in North Wales. So if anybody who's ever started a business, being able to walk into a business and be able to operate it from day one, not have to spend 3-4 months building it, constructing it, wondering why something has fallen over or is set on fire, is always a massive, massive bonus. We were there for 3 years.
Sounds like most days at my place.
Exactly.
So going back to the brewery in the back garden, what kind of styles were you making?
Very similar to what we're doing now. We've always been sort of very focused and oriented around the more sort of craft feature oriented stuff. So very hoppy, very kind of big and fruity flavors. We've always had a love for cask. So even back in those days when we were producing very little beer, we were still brewing a lot of cask beer and making sure that there was cask beer available, because it's still an art form that is desired and is required. So things haven't really changed much, other than the fact that we now know a lot more about what we're doing, and we're producing a substantially larger quantity than we were at the time.
So let's talk about that, because obviously me and Neil talk often about beer and mainly wrestling. But they've just moved into the new brewery, and you got a new tank. Was it last week?
We got our second new tank. So
sorry.
Yeah, so we moved in back in January, and obviously the whole point of us moving was to expand, to grow, and to be able to produce more beer, because we couldn't produce enough in the old site. So we got our first tank.
This is what I'm drinking today. This is Cold Stone Cream Austin Lemon Cheesecake. It's really, really good.
I'm currently drinking,
but it's not the OG, mate. You know my love of the OG.
I do indeed. I'm currently drinking. I haven't got the can with me at the moment, but it's one of our new beers. It's called the Going Off Big Time, a Kavika Pale Ale brewed in collaboration with our local wrestling promotion TNT.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I'll talk about all that later on. So, but you said about us having expanded. Obviously, we've moved to a new site. We've got one new tank, which is 2,000 hectolitres, so it's twice as big as one of our usual fermenters. And then last week we had to expand again because we had to get more tanks in. So we have officially doubled our capacity from where we were last year. So we are physically twice as big in terms of beer products.
So even though COVID's kicked people in the arse, you guys have doubled in size.
Yeah, pretty much. We were very lucky in the operation that we had during the first lockdown, second lockdown, 27th lockdown, however many there's been nowadays.
It feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate that we were able to turn our operation around, and we were able to start canning a lot more than we were kegging and casking. So we were able to put that in. Obviously, places like yourself were instrumental to that because you guys helped support us massively.
Yeah, I mean, can sales were mad during lockdown. I mean, I stayed open as an off license, as you know, and we upped our online presence, and yeah, it just flew out the door.
Yeah,
and going back from being a bar where I'd worry about what was on sale and if the people in the bar would buy it, it didn't matter what you had. Everyone was going to buy anything, and it was like, well, this is just brilliant, you know. And it's easier for me when I said your beer's cracking. I'm not saying this for the camera. You know full well, you know, there's some of your beers I like, some I'm not so keen on. There's some that are just fucking fantastic, and I just love them.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where throughout the entirety of 2020, the key message that we had as a brewery was a case of don't just buy beers from us. Because, you know, as much as you can buy a couple of cans from me, that's fine. My message was always go and speak to places like yourself, the bars.
Yeah, definitely.
Had to change entirely. So, you know, it's great that, you know, we're 18 months into it and you guys are still open. You're back open again. Things are operational again. It's fantastic to see.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm looking at the CCTV cameras now. And we've got running club tonight. We have a running club last Thursday of the month. There's 15 hot and sweaty people about to come and spend a load of beer and waste a 5k they just ran. But, you know.
I've done the running club a couple of times. It was the first time I did it was great, but I realised it was like an afternoon run, so I had a very light breakfast, ran, and then went and drank a lot of beer. It didn't end well. I think I got home about 6:30 and passed out on the couch and woke up about 10 o'clock at night because I was quite drunk.
So back to when you first started, and obviously you and Ben have a love of beer and wrestling. So what made you go with the complete kind of wrestling names and stuff? And I suppose have you ever had any issues with the namings of them? Because obviously there's another company that's just released 4 that are really sailing close to the wind.
Yes, they are indeed. I mean, we've got a massive love for Brew York. Absolutely love Brew York.
I did mention them.
There's no point trying to not mention. If you talk
I've got Scotty 2 Hoppy on draft at the moment, so you know.
Oh, good lord! I've got a can of the Thundertaker in the fridge. I need to crack out some.
The Thundertaker, just brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. I absolutely love it. I mean, they've done beers before. They've done Triple H. They've done Milk Foley. They've done what was it? The Mockerman Randy Savage.
Yeah.
And we did one with the literally the week in February last year. We actually did a collab with the Big Red Machine. Which is a cherry sour beer. Which
sold out in minutes, mate. It was just amazing.
It was fantastic. So, no, in terms of why we went with wrestling, it's because it's how mine and Ben's friendship was founded. We're both old school wrestling fans, both grew up with it in the 90s. And it was one of those things that we always end up talking about, you know, favourite pay-per-views, favourite matches, favourite wrestlers. It was just that the conversation always ended up back there. So when it came time to sort of deciding on how to produce a brewery, how to build it, we kind of, I'm sure that anybody who's ever founded a brewery, you find something that you both, or whoever starts it, you find something that you love and are passionate about, and you build it based on that. And for us, it happened to be wrestling, which has turned out to be a fantastic thing because when you actually sit down and think about beer and wrestling, there's such a plethora of things that you can dive into, both in terms of beer names, in terms of styles, in terms of influences. It's almost endless. And
I think it was last week. I was chatting to a friend. I was sat in another pub and we were chatting about the Yeti, and he went, "What's a Yeti?" I have no idea. I said, "Well, let me just ask Neil." And you got back to me and sent me a link to who it was and what the fight was. You know, Jesus. I mean, was that the same Halloween Havoc that had Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero?
I can't remember because I watched that match the other night, and good lord, it was atrocious.
Yeah.
It may have had Mysterio.
Was it Isaac Yankem kind of awful? Or was it Gobbledygooker kind of awful?
Both. Just like a combination of things. I mean, WCW were always awful in their own little way, but this was just like it was Hogan at peak Hogan trying to. We've got into wrestling talk very early.
We knew it was going to happen.
I know it was like the most. Also, are we going blue with this, or what's the deal?
Say again.
Are we going blue with this, or are we keeping it PG?
That's up to you, mate. I've already said the F-bomb.
Fair enough.
Well, somebody dropped off the view, and some guess it's my wife with the kids. So.
Yeah, it was the most piss poor attempt of a bear hug from.
Yeah, I think you told me that. I think you texted me that.
Yeah, and it was just an atrocious match, but you have to go and watch it because it is just 90s wrestling at its finest, and it's what wrestling in the 90s was all about.
Well, we have got wrestling. I started working my way through the network with the old WCW events, and God, they get awful, don't they? I mean, how many times did the NWO need to come out during a pay-per-view just to do nothing? More
times, more of them.
Oh my goodness! And I'm lucky. I missed TNA. I didn't watch TNA, so I hear that. No, I hear that was another Hogan, Eric Bischoff attrition.
Yeah, pretty much, because Hogan is Hogan, and he's going to be an abhorrent human being no matter what he does.
Right, so back to beer.
Yes.
Who decides what beer you're making, and who decides the namings, or is it just the two of you going? Do you just have a list where you go through? You're like currently on 1998. It's like, oh, this one would work. I mean, is the Pilsner out yet?
Flying Brian Pills.
Flying Brian Pilsner. I mean, that's just the best name. I mean, if that should be ready for the dark side of the ring, nothing should have been.
Yeah, that's what we've been working on for a long time. Again, it's another reason why we moved is so that we can make more lagers.
Yeah.
In terms of naming and styles and all that kind of stuff, it's very much a collaborative effort. It's obviously me and Ben just sit down and we basically look at what he's brewing. At the moment, we're brewing a lot of beer for cask because that's what's required. So we've got a lot of the old favourites, things like the American Dream, things like American Nightmare. We're brewing Overkill IPA for the first time in a very long time as well. But then beyond that, we're brewing what we do. I'm getting my wish, which is in a month or so's time. We are brewing a series of 4 beers, which are all dedicated to my personal favourite man, of Mick Foley. So we're doing a Mick Foley beer, which is a base IPA, and then we're going to do spins on it for each of his 3 characters.
Of course, sure. Why wouldn't you? It's
exactly.
There's a flowery floral IPA for Dude Love.
It's going to be a fruity IPA, a dipper for hardcore, and a sour IPA for Mankind. Those are getting done. I mean, Ben has been begging for ages. We have to keep pushing it back. But in a couple of months' time, we are finally brewing a black IPA.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, I have people ask for them. I mean, sometimes they're a struggle to push and a struggle to explain. But once you've kind of sat down and explained to customers, they're like, right, yeah, get it now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's dark. It's like just close your eyes and drink.
Yeah.
So and what you'll have. And who's that? And dare I ask you, that's going to be named after?
I'm going to keep it as a bit of a secret. It's being brewed on a special day. It turns out the brew that we're doing for it has fallen on a very special anniversary. It's something that it's very, very deep and very emotional. For anybody who's a fan of wrestling, especially in the last year, it's going to be it will tug at your heartstrings because even thinking about it now, it still tugs at my heartstrings. And if that doesn't give away,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, if that doesn't give away who it's based on, then I don't know what will.
I won't drop any more hints. There's plenty of hints.
Exactly, yeah. So we're doing that, but yeah, it comes down to essentially, who we want to. I mean, pay tribute to.
This is my COVID mask. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Precisely so.
I was just showing my mask.
So in terms of the naming and the beer styles, it's very much a case of what we want to drink, what we want to brew, and also who we want to pay tribute to that particular week. So it's there are a lot of ideas knocking around. We've got a few other sort of big ideas and big names that we've had planned in for a while that are coming out in the next few months. But there's nothing that really dictates it. It's just whatever we fancy doing, and also what our artist, a fellow called Tom Sumner, who is an absolute
brilliant.
He's amazing.
I mean, look at that.
I mean, that's one of the originals that he came up with. But if you look at the recent stuff, things like the Yeti, things like wait till you see the artwork for the Flying Brian Pilsner. He has his game has been substantially upped in the past sort of year or so. He's taken what he does to the next level, and it's just fantastic. Like we can come to him with like the most basic vague idea, and he just knocks it out of the park every single time.
I mean, I love the Ding Dong Hello can. I mean, that's if you watch wrestling, you don't know who that is, you know. And to be fair, one of my favourites is probably Big Simcoe. I like that. Obviously, that's his tattoo. It just looks brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, Simcoe is just the best art. It just is.
Yeah, my ex-business partner didn't believe so. It was the one he didn't disliked.
Well, hence the reason why he's an ex-partner.
Touche, my friend. So, do you think sometimes I've got a wrestler, I really want to make a beer for them? So for me, if I ever want to make a beer for Owen Hart or something Hart Foundation-y, do you sometimes pick a wrestler and then work a beer around it, or is the beer generally the first thought?
6 to 1. It varies because things like Cold Stone Cream Austin, that was the name first, the beer second. Papa Mango, the name first, the beer second. But in recent,
but he's another one that's liked your tweets, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very much so. Very much so. We actually have a pump that's signed by Charles Wright. We have the Big Papa Mango, and we also have a standing invitation to go for a drink for him next time he's in the country.
That sounds good to me. I've still not watched his Stone Cold.
No, I've seen some bits of it.
I've seen bits of it. But no, the last one I watched was a Jericho one, and that was a groundbreaker.
Oh, the Forbidden Door! The Forbidden Door is open.
I don't think it is anymore.
No, it's very much open now. It's done and dusted. Everyone's through. But no, in terms of sort of naming and things, especially the past couple of months, with all the new IPAs that we put out, we do kind of focus that. We have ideas for how we want to do our IPAs, in which hop varieties and what yeast we want to use for it, and then we will just kind of take more of a modern day spin on it. So things like Ding Dong Hello, things like Head of the Table, things like On This Day. We kind of, we like to put out a new IPA, a new sort of big flavoursome IPA with new combinations that are going to be juicy and fruity and sort of get people's, to quote Tony Schiavone, put butts in seats. So we try and keep those.
I mean, the best Tony Schiavone quote is the Mick Foley one, isn't it?
That's what I mean.
It's a shocker. It's a shocker.
Yeah,
just reminds me of reading the book, and I phoned Shivani the next day. He didn't answer. No fucking surprise there.
Exactly. So with those kind of things, we do like to sort of keep it a bit more relevant with some sort of current wrestlers. I mean, things like obviously Roman Reigns and Edge. They just happened to fall into sync when they were in the main event of WrestleMania. Ding Dong Hello was done because Bayley is one of my favorite wrestlers. I absolutely love everything that she's done.
The Hell in a Cell with Sasha was just amazing.
It was, well, to be fair, it's just her whole heel turn. As soon as she cut her hair and went heel, and she just changed everything about what she was, and it was just brilliant. And she's absolutely, especially the last sort of during the pandemic era of wrestling, if you want to call it, she's just upped her game substantially.
Well, her and Sasha basically kept that company going, as far as I'm concerned, during most of it. They really did. The matches they were putting out were just outstanding.
Exactly.
And I'm not a massive female wrestling fan, but the stuff that they've done and stuff that Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa have done as well is just hats off.
Yeah, I'm just waiting till Rhea Ripley gets her chance to shine on the main roster, where they don't keep putting up a bloody Charlotte Flair.
Well,
that's a whole.
Yeah, I suppose Flair was Flair going to let a contract run out and go to AEW Andrade?
No, because WWE won't let her.
No, Dad's not a WWE man, really. He started in WCW and NWA.
Yeah, but WWE keep paying his bills, and they keep
exactly.
They keep allowing him to cry on TV. So,
what you got now? What are you drinking? I've just opened mine. I've just opened mine as well. No surprise what I'm opening. You've gone. It's 10%. It's a bloody school night.
I've got to open a tap room tomorrow. That's not until 12 o'clock, so it's fine.
Is that your tap room?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
How's that going?
It's good. It's been nice. Our second one tomorrow, or second weekend tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's been good because obviously it's been about 3 or 4 years since myself and Ben have worked quite a while, so it's nice to get back into the swing of things.
It's like riding a bike, mate. Like riding a bike.
It is, but your feet still hurt.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be good. We're doing Friday, Saturday this week, and we're doing sort of once a month to start with, sort of seeing how things progress. This weekend in particular is going to be good fun because I say we did that collab Kavik Pale with local TNT promotion earlier this month. So it's their first live wrestling show in 18 months.
Okay, wow.
Which I am over the moon about. So we get to go and watch live wrestling again. Get to go and watch. I was describing it before. It's like if ECW was based in Liverpool. It's just hardcore, violent, aggressive, really angry wrestling, but done in such an incredible way. So if anybody has a chance to check out any of the stuff...
No, I'd never heard of them until I saw your collab with them, and I've searched them up since.
Yeah, go and watch them. It was...
At the minute, I'm stuck on AEW. That's all I watch at the minute, religiously.
Well, it was...
I know you don't. Even though I keep telling you to, and I keep sending you matches to watch.
I do watch a lot of the stuff on it, but if you want a little bit of a link between before the first ever AEW pay-per-view, 2 weeks before that, we were at a TNT show and saw Pac.
Well, I mean, just amazing. I mean, was this lockdown, or was this before lockdown? Because obviously he got stuck in the country, stuck in the UK for 8 months, didn't he? So
no, this was before their first pay-per-view. Like was it the All In? They did the first ever one before they were an official promotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like literally 2 weeks before he was on the first 2019 edition of All In. We saw him taking back bumps on concrete in front of 200 people in Liverpool. It was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old enough and ugly enough and lucky enough to have seen Regal in the Colston Hall in Bristol, Fit Finlay. What's the other British guy's name? I can't remember the English guy's name. He was in WWF as well with Regal. Dave Taylor.
Robbie.
No, I saw him as well. So yeah, we saw all these, in front of 200 people with nothing around the ring, and it was just madness.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I've done an evening with William Regal, and just his stories are just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but I'm part of a mastermind group for businesses, so to speak. And there's a company there called Code Breakers, and they do a podcast every week and have been for years and years. They've just basically been not taken over. They've been asked by a company with worldwide reach. We can get you the guest you want. Who do you want? And they were like, I want Steve Regal. And they were like, you're not thinking big enough. And they're like, no. We want Steve Regal first. And it's like, that's just genius. I mean, there's a video on YouTube, I think it's for Talk Sport, and it's literally him talking for an hour, and it's just amazing. Yeah. Circus tents in Blackpool and all sorts.
Yeah, if you ever meet him, just ask him about Tajiri and Spam.
He's quite big, should I?
Yeah, just ask him about Tajiri and Spam. That's it. I won't explain the story, but when you meet him, ask him for that story because it is amazing.
I just think Tajiri and a can of Spam, that can't go well, can it?
It's not just a can of Spam; it's a lot of cans of Spam. But just ask the story; it's amazing.
Okay, so back to beer. What's your future for Top Rope in the next year or so? Or what do you see? Are you expanding more, or you you spoke about more tanks and getting bigger?
I think for the time being, we've doubled our capacity, so we're quite happy with that. We're
pretty damn impressive.
We're one of those companies where we've started this as two guys in a shed brewing beer. That's it. We're not business guys. We're not professionals. We are now professionals.
You are.
But
you sound like me. You are.
Yeah, but we've always started this with the aim of we're just doing this because it's better than working a 9-to-5 job in an office somewhere.
That's why I do this. That's why I do this. That's why I've done it for 25 years. People say, when do you get your weekends? Like, every weekend. I get to spend time with customers and drink beer and enjoy them and tell them my passion, which is what you're doing. And we both sell ourselves short and say, we're not professionals. We are.
Yeah.
We're bloody 100%. Good as well.
Yeah. But it's...
we look at that.
100%. But it's, we've doubled our capacity. That's fantastic. That allows us to produce more beer, more styles, more flavours, more availability. It allows us the chance to get more people for collabs. We can, expand what we're doing. Obviously, we've got our first events booked in. Our first event is next month with you, so I get to travel down and bring some beer, get to bring some beer down to Crafty Duck, and I get to bore everybody in person about beer and wrestling and all kinds of stuff. And
so I've got customers downstairs now. Like, are they going to do a meet and greet? Can I talk to them? It's like, yeah. Because I've got customers downstairs now who are massive into beer, massive into wrestling. So yeah, you're going to get your ears bored. But yeah, Crafty Duck in Hartford has got a tap takeover with Top Rope, 13 draft beers, and I imagine by the time we get there, a bloody dozen canned beers as well. It's going to be pretty great. I was talking to a staff member earlier about how do we make the bar look like a ring? What are we going to do? And he's like, no, not a ring, Hell in a Cell. I'm like, this is going to take some thinking, isn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, we're going full in. We can't wait because it's the first one we've done. We've been open 2 years and a bit, and we've had loads organised that have never come to fruition because of obviously bloody COVID. But yeah, you were always the first in the door for me, and it was like, yeah, let's get this done. So yeah, people get excited.
Yeah,
staff are getting excited.
Yeah, you're going to be the first one that we've done 18 months. The first one I've actually travelled. I've been away and I've travelled around to, booking a hotel and staying over. It's fantastic.
Booked yesterday, mate.
Genuinely.
Or was it this morning? I can't remember. It's been a long day.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Definitely yesterday. But yeah, I'm massively excited for that kind of stuff. So just getting to go back out and do it again. And the rest of the year is going to be doing that. It's going to be refocusing ourselves and getting ourselves to where we were in 2019. It's getting back to doing keg, doing cask, getting to get as much beer out there into the wild as we can do. I've already got a lot of focus and everything aimed at November, which is our birthday. Because obviously we missed last year's birthday, so I've got a lot of pent up.
So what number will that be? Because are you going from 2015 or 2016? Or are you going from real brewery?
It's our 5th birthday, so it's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania 6.
Obviously.
Because you can't do it in proper years. So as just in the way that the WrestleMania 25 was not the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. Because you don't celebrate your first wedding is not your first anniversary.
No, of course not.
So yes,
I was trying to think of WrestleMania 25 matches. It's none could come. You're far younger and quicker than me.
Michaels versus Austin. Michaels versus Taker. Sorry.
I can see the match outside.
No, Michaels versus Taker. Michaels was doing the whole white god thing.
I can't remember. I'm old and I forget things.
He came down like a big pedestal thing with all the smoke around because he was the good version and Taker came out and Black was evil. He was born again Christian. It was Michaels Taker 1, I believe.
I am not a Shawn Michaels fan, I'm afraid.
That's fair enough. But yeah, I've got a lot of focus on that because we always go big for our birthday because it's a reason to celebrate. Everyone loves a birthday, so we've got that. In a couple of weeks, in fact, 2 weeks tonight, we've got the gig with Frank Turner in the brewery, which is
brilliant.
You
think you're nervous tonight talking to me?
I'm going to fangirl very hard over that for us. We've got that, and then again, it's just going to be a case of just as a lot of brewers say, it's just getting back to normal. It's getting back to brewing beer into keg and cask. It's about getting beers back into pubs, about getting people back into the pubs, back into free houses, getting them out again into reality, getting them to enjoy things again, and not have to, worry about going over to a friend's house for 2 drinks when you can go and sit in a pub for 5 hours and drink everything across the bar and then stagger home. That's what it's about again.
I mean, I like the fact that you're still. You said there's quite a demand for cask. That was what worried me when we reopened in the situation we are now. That I haven't put any cask back on since I've reopened, just because in a minute I just can't afford to. But the fact you say there's demand for it, and I find that amazing, and I find that really good because my concern was that maybe this could really dent and really hurt a lot of brewers. And I know a lot of brewers still aren't. I mean, you guys are knocking out the kegs and casks, aren't you?
Yes.
There's still lots of brewers that just aren't. They're still really worried about this.
There are, because we are still in a position where things could get turned on the head in an instant. Boris could just turn around and go, "Fuck you, close up now, you're done again," and that could happen very much so. But end of the day, as it stands at the moment, where we are, people are asking for cask. People are asking, they're begging for more cask. I've literally got places who are just, they want more of it, which is both good, but also I kind of view it as a bit of a glass half full kind of situation, because I love cask, absolutely adore it. I'm a massive fan of it. I cannot wait to drink a lot of it.
Yeah, as am I.
At the same time, cask also has a connotation. It still has a connotation in this country as being cheap beer. As in,
you think? I mean, there's probably one company responsible for that, isn't there? Though
there is, but it's still a case of there are a lot of people who, if you turn around and say to them a pint of cask is £4.50, they'll bat out, they'll flut their eyelids, they'll shout and scream at you. But it's kind of an issue that takes place, because that it does happen. But there are places that do it properly and do it well, and look after it and maintain it. And you guys, when you put your first cask back on again, they will be glorious and epic and amazing. And given the first 2 beers you're getting on cask, I'm going to drink a hell of a lot of them. But
the boys are excited about the old raspberry.
Yes,
they're like on cask, like, yeah, this is going to be good.
Yeah, but there's still a mindset. I don't know how it is with you guys in the south, but in the north, there is definitely a mindset in place where cask shouldn't be more than like £3.50 a pint, because it's only cask beer.
I'll take you for a walk. I'll take you for a walk when you come down, mate.
Yeah,
there's only one place in this town you'll get a cask for less than £3, and it's 500 yards away from me, and looks like an airport waiting lounge.
Well, that's good. That's how it should be. But up in the north, it's a bit of a tricky situation to have to deal with. And so we need more places that are willing to pay £4.50 for a pint of cask, because that's what it's worth. That's what it's
I had a lovely couple of pints of Taylor's Landlord on Saturday in the pub around the corner, and that's always £4.50. But I know it's going to be a cracking pint, and that's 500 yards that way. 500 yards that way, there's a Fuller's pub where I can get a cracking pint of ESB for that same. No, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's Spoons is the only place you're going to get anything under £3 in where we are. We live a commuter belt, basically. So it's not like we take the mick out of people. It's what the prices are, and I price sometimes too cheap and too realistically, and most of my cask could be £4 or under, to be fair.
So
because I think, but that's where it should be.
So did you say Spoons is the only place you can get a pint under £3?
Yeah. Okay,
well, I'm just going to take this as the bold opportunity to say fuck Wetherspoons entirely in every single thing that they do. Do never step foot in Wetherspoons ever.
It's 500 yards that way, mate. And I worked for them for 5 years.
Yeah, to any single person who I said this to my own family: don't ever step foot in Wetherspoons. Do not give that man any of your money ever.
Strange enough, we don't kind of attract the same customers as you would imagine, because my cask might not be £4 and over, but there's a beer downstairs. I haven't advertised it in pints, but if they were to buy a pint, it'd be £10.50.
Yeah,
it is 13%.
Yeah. So it's just
I get it often. People come in and go, how much? It's like Neck Oil £6.10 across the road, and I can do it. I've got everything cheaper than that. Why are you arguing?
It's also Heineken, so fuck them as well.
Oh, it's not. It's 49.999% Heineken.
That's more than enough Heineken.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's in. That's why it's in everywhere. That's why trade team are putting it everywhere. But £6 a pint.
49.99% of a shandy is still Heineken.
Yeah, well, most of it is. So yeah, it's a weird one. Prices, it's like I said, we're 20 minutes outside London on a train every half an hour, like I said yesterday. So prices are it's quite expensive Wetherspoons for what it is.
Yeah,
it doesn't do very well. I'm in a tiny little town. We can walk across in 5 minutes, and we'll walk past 30 pubs, and I'm still reasonably priced. And most of those are macros.
Yeah, but the takeaway from this section is entirely fuck Wetherspoons. Please, for anybody who's ever paying attention, don't ever spend your money on Wetherspoons. It's just not worth it.
This is... Oh, God, I got off on a tangent now. This is my whole issue with CAMRA. How can you be the campaign for Real Ale and give out Wetherspoons vouchers?
What was someone said to me earlier on was... It's not the campaign for Real Ale. It's the campaign for real discounts.
Yeah, which is basically all it is. But they're going to die on their asses in 2 generations anyway, until they start embracing keg beer, which isn't the devil. And I'm not talking about John Smith Smooths or Boddingtons.
To be fair, back when I used to work in pubs, we did have visits from the likes of Birmingham, from Sheffield, from Newcastle, and the pub I used to work in was heavily cask-led, with a couple of keg lines. But whenever we had visits from sort of further afield camera bodies, they were all about keg. They were drinking kegs, they were drinking bottles, they were drinking cans, and they were all about predominantly the local stuff. They were just determined to drink whatever was local, no matter what function it came in. They were obsessed with that, and it was great. It was interesting having 15 people from camera turn up, and just kind of 2 of them drinking cask, and then 10 of them drinking keg, and 3 of them drinking cans. It was a great thing to see. So there are some very progressive, some very forward-thinking camera bodies out there, and it's fantastic.
They're just not in Hartford.
Or Liverpool, unfortunately.
Well, so there you go. But the first pub I started running for Green King 12 years ago was literally 2-3 minutes walk from where we are. And I was there for 6 years, and I had 6 cask lines on all the time. Green King IPA, and then 5 guests. And it took me 6 years to get in the Good Beer Guide. And then I left. And then I went to the next pub and had 6 more on. I'm not interested. So I've worked for 3 pubs, 1 for Wetherspoons, 2 for Green King, and I've got 2 of them in the Good Beer Guide. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's hard here. It's hard. You'll see when you come. It looks tiny, and it's 4 or 5 rooms, and it's big-ish. We can seat 50 people, so it's not small. It just looks very, very odd.
Yeah.
So I'm glad cask is really, really good for you, because that's my concern. Like I said, I can't wait to get some cask on, and it probably will be the first time I get cask on will be your bad boys.
It is. Just have to remind me that obviously when I come down, I'll need to bring my own sparkler.
Fucking Northerners. I had the same at Wetherspoons. I worked in 4 or 5, probably more Wetherspoons in 5 years, and they love a sparkler. Black ones, white ones, red ones, yellow ones. Like, for God's sake, take the bloody thing off. It's a pain in the ass. If you can't pour a pint of cask ale and get a head on it without a sparkler, you shouldn't be behind the sodding bar, in my opinion.
I'm bringing a sparkler now just to round you and the suppers up. That's all it is.
I'll tell you, it'd be the wrong one. It's not those we do. We've got Swan next, so you're more than welcome to bring one down.
That's fine. Blackhead sparkler, because without cask, blackhead sparkler is perfectly fine.
If that's what the brewer wants, and who am I to beg to differ?
Oh, anyway, before we get too off tangent again, what's your next question for me? Go on.
Well, no, nothing really. We were chatting offline before we went on, and we're going to talk some wrestling for 5-10 minutes now before we wrap this up and finish our nights off. Was the question I asked you? So I'll give you. You've had 14 minutes to think about this. Was if you could only watch 5 wrestling matches for the rest of your life, what would they be? Like I said, I rattled off a couple for you. So mine were Owen versus Brett, WrestleMania 10. Mm-hmm. Just amazing, especially the bit when Owen rubs his foot across Brett's face. And he gives him that older brother look like, what have you just done?
Yeah.
From the same event, Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. Again, it's a great match. Not a Michaels fan. And again, because Savage slapped Michaels when they came back through because he'd taken 10 minutes off a Savage's match. Just brilliant. Mankind versus Undertaker Hell in a Cell.
Which pay-per-view was that?
It was King of the Ring, wasn't it?
Which year?
Oh, don't ask me. 97?
8. But more importantly, who won that year's King of the Ring?
I've no idea. I better remember
Ken Shamrock.
Working one. Ken Shamrock. There's a waste of talent.
Yep.
There was an absolute waste of talent. That guy could have been absolutely amazing. Was that 3 or 4 for me? 4.
3.
WCW. Regal versus Flair on a normal show in a Queen's Raw match. I'll think of 5. You can go for yours. You can have 5. Well, that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here, and can I say instead of picking individual matches, can I pick wrestlers who can fight each other at any point in time?
Oh, I like that.
Okay. Zayn versus Owens. Always.
Well, they farted about that last night, didn't they, on SmackDown?
Yeah, but Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens is always going to be a good match forever.
I think Sami Zayn versus Sami Zayn versus Kenny Omega.
I'm talking about guys you can. I'm talking about guys you can, as WWE are currently using, put them into any situation and they'll have a good match. Owens versus Zayn is always good.
Oh, I thought we were talking just like celebrity deathmatch. We could have any wrestler from any age.
No, I'm talking about instead of choosing a particular match that they've done, just choosing two wrestlers, put them into any situation, and they're going to have a top level match. So Owens versus Zayn,
Omega versus Pac.
100%, yes.
Oh my god! I mean, was it from the All In that they had their first match? And,
yeah.
And
when he choked him out, and Omega went purple.
Yeah, just amazing.
Yeah. My second one of again, I can't choose a particular match they've had together, but Gargano versus Ciampa. Just put those two together. I mean, their series of three with the 2 out of 3 falls match, the last man standing match, just anything that they've done is just intense, awesome, brilliant. Just put those two together. I'll take any match they've ever done.
I do sometimes think that NXT is the best brand.
It is. Because Raw is shit.
But why do they ruin it when they bring them up to the main thing and just ruin them?
Vince.
Well, yeah, we know it's Vince.
Because Vince has no control over NXT, so he doesn't know what's going on with it, and then brings them up and just goes, "Oh, you're going to be a foreign."
Do you think you know Samoa Joe's back?
Do you think you know Samoa Joe was there in the first place?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. You know, do you not remember that's where he came from? And it's the same with Sammy and people like that. And you know, how can you ruin Ricochet? And how can you know, Aleister Black? It's like Christ.
Because they're small. They're small guys. They're not big and beefy. But at the same time, Braun Strowman, big beefy dude.
Well, Braun Strowman's a completely same as Samoa Joe, a money thing, isn't it? We signed them all up to contracts 2 years ago, so AEW couldn't get them, and then we realised we couldn't afford them, and now AEW's got them.
Well, no, they can afford them because the last 2 years have been the most profitable years for WWE. They've made more money than they've ever done in the last 2 years.
Well, yeah, because they sack about 30 wrestlers a year, don't they? Which is just insane.
No, it's because they're not paying out for travel expenses. They're not paying out for hiring venues and paying for transport costs. So
they sold the network.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then also within the next 12 months, Vince McMahon will sell WWE.
To NBC broadcasts.
Most likely, yes. He will have sold the entire thing entirely. But no, in terms of other guys that you can top tier matches are just awesomeness and brilliance. I'm going to go with trying to think through. To be fair, I'm going to go with Reigns versus McIntyre at Survivor Series last year or sometime last year or the year before, when it was just two big hunks of meat just slapping each other for fun. Which, yeah, I'm always down for that. Always. I'm going to go.
I like the smaller, more proper wrestling kind of thing. So, like I said, that's what Owen Bratt's the best match ever. Amazing.
I'm going to go with potentially controversial here. I'm going to go with Triple H versus Undertaker, technically 2, but also one of the Divas number 1 at WrestleMania 27, I think it was.
As much as I don't like Triple H, he puts on a decent match.
It was after the two Michaels matches when Taker had retired Michaels and Triple H stepped in. And he was like, all right, okay, when you've retired my friend, I'm going to retire you now. So they stepped in, had the match, and it was the match that literally destroyed Taker when he tried to he rolled out the ring, collapsed, and they had to put him on like a little cart thing to wheel him out. Yeah. That match was just insanely awesome and brilliant. Actually, no, scratch that one. If I'm going for a Taker match, it's Taker versus Punk at 29.
So we forget about Punk, don't we? Another waste of talent.
In that case, not a waste of talent.
It just 7 years gone. It's like he keeps teasing about coming back, and it's like he's never coming back, is he?
No, he's not. But also, if you're going for best matches, I can't remember exactly which Raw it was, but there was an episode of Raw when Punk fought John Cena for the chance to fight Rock at Mania 31, was it? For the twice in a lifetime category. And it was a match that was just beyond belief. It was a match on Raw when CM Punk pile drove Cena. Completely unscripted, completely on the cuff.
What is it? Can't pile drive in WWE anymore.
It was a bad move at the time. It was a bad move at the time. But obviously in their heads, they just kind of went, well, I'm John Cena, I'm CM Punk. The fuck are you going to do about it? Really? Are you going to find us? Are you going to try and sue us? we are these two guys. It was that. There was a John Cena pulled out which I've always coined as a Cena Rana, because it was a god awful Hurricane Rana. But that match overall was a proper life or death situation where Punk had to do every single possible thing he could muster to try and win. It was a point when The Rock had beaten Punk at Rumble for his championship, which ended his 434 day run.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't have happened in the first place. It was an absolute travesty that happened, but it led to that match, and that match was just so intense and so emotional. But it was just those two very much playing it on the cuff and just calling each other out and just feeling how things went, and it went really, really well, and it was just great. It was kind of the first point when you realised that John Cena could actually have a really good match, because it was 2 years before the US Open Challenge when John Cena had that string of just absolutely epic matches with every single mid-carder.
I don't think people give him enough credit. They really don't.
It's because he did have in his early days, he had a lot of
massive
issues.
Knob.
He had a lot of issues, i.e. the Nexus was a major issue.
Oh, what was that?
But when he learned about it, when he realised his situation and his position, he did change it around with the likes of the CM Punk stuff, with the likes of the US Open Challenge, when he had when Owens debuted and Owens beat him straight away, because he realised that this was the next big thing, and Owens was due to be the next big thing, and then Goldberg came in and destroyed the whole thing again. So there was a lot.
Rock and Goldberg. Why do we keep bringing these people back? Come on.
Brock, I can understand, because Brock is a legitimate freak of nature.
Oh, Brock, yes. Rock, no.
Rock is the biggest celebrity on the planet. It
didn't go well for him when he came to save Roman Reigns, did it? They booed him.
That's because that again, I'm blaming Vince for that entirely, because he tried to force Roman Reigns down everyone's neck. However, at the moment, head of the table, he is my head of the table. He is
genius move, mate. Genius move. Make him heel.
Exactly.
Make him heel. Give him Paulie. Jesus, there you go.
Always poorly dangerous, 100%. But no, it's the Rock is the Rock. He is now, as far as I'm concerned, the single biggest influential wrestling character of all time. He's surpassed Hulk Hogan.
Oh, over and over. For many reasons. And Hogan's hasn't been relevant in 20 years. So generations have missed him, and they haven't missed much. The guy did like 5 moves. And
he destroyed his own legacy as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bischoff kind of the same as well, didn't they?
No, I mean in the way that Hogan was outed as being a horrifically racist, homophobic arsehole.
No, not him.
Hogan?
He seems so lovely.
The whitest of white men?
Yeah. Well, no, we're not going there. With his blonde hair and his blue eyes.
What was the comment I always think of from Always Sunny in Philadelphia? He has the silken hair of a Chinaman.
Deary me. Let's not end this on Hulk Hogan.
No, let's just go back for something really, really good.
So best tag team then. Best tag teams against each other.
There's only three answers.
Well, go on then.
Dudley's, Hardy's, Edge, and Christian.
I'm not going to argue with that. I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with that. The fact that we got Christian and Matt Hardy both in AEW, teasing they're going to do so. It's just like, oh come on. Can we not wait for Matt for Jeff to run out of contract or something? Then he goes and signs a new contract, doesn't he?
It's not even that. You need Bully Ray into it. That's what you need.
We've got their kids in there as a tag team.
Yes.
This is just genius. This is genius stuff. Yeah. And Heart Foundation, simple as that.
Yeah.
But I'm older than you. I'm pushing early 50, so.
But if you're going for non-wrestling tag teams, Hollywood Blondes.
Oh, I'm lucky enough to see him live. I saw him in Cardiff. Many years ago. I can't even think who they fought. They were first fight on. And after about match 3 or 4, we were quite close to where they were coming down. We spotted Austin, and he was just literally sat on these folded up stand with a load of beer watching the wrestling. Yeah. And it was like, wow. And I'm lucky enough to see Flair that day as well.
I I can beat that wrestling story.
I remember main event was Sting versus Vader. That was pretty impressive.
So I can beat that wrestling story.
Go
I
on.
was 2 years old. My dad had taken me, so this is 92. My dad had taken me to
92. Bastard. It was
not my
19.
fault. My dad had taken me and my brother to the NEC to see the wrestling and front row. And we had one of the mid-card match was the Bushwhackers. And I was one of the people that got licked by the Bushwhackers. Yeah, it will never happen these days. But yes, I had a probably mid-30s Australian dude lick a 2-year-old child.
That's frowned upon nowadays.
Substantially frowned. It's probably frowned upon back in those days, to be fair. But it was wrestling, wasn't it? So.
Wow, I think we should end it there. and when I repost this on social, it's going to be just named licked by a bushwhacker.
It's going to be a beer name in there, surely.
Wow, licked by a bushwhacker. No, I can't be that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Sting touched me. He touched my hand.
I'm thankful you phrased that correctly.
What, Sting touched me? Like that. Like, Sting touched me.
Yeah.
So that was let's end it on licked by a bushwhacker and touched by Sting.
Sounds good.
So Neil, thank you for your time.
Absolute pleasure.
We will talk shortly, I'm sure, about more beer and more wrestling. And obviously, if you didn't hear Neil say, there's Tap Takeover the last weekend in July in the Crafty Duck in Hartford. 13 cask and keg beers on, and probably a dozen cans. We're gonna nail the shit out of it. You meet Neil and Ben as well.
It'll just be me.
It'll just be you.
Yes, we can't afford 2 people off site.
I suppose so. That means someone's got to do the chat room. That means you're going to leave them all on his own. Oh goodness, just you. That could get messy. I hope you don't like whiskey, do you? It's going to get dangerous. It's going to get dangerous then.
Just don't bring out tequila. It's fine.
I've got lovely tequila from Fierce Beer.
Oh, if you're bringing out, I will also point out Fierce Beer, the first ever brewery that we collabed with.
Oh wow!
In the shed.
And what was the beer called?
It was an Imperial Pina Colada Porter called Coco Colada.
Obviously.
I'll point out as well. This was back in the original shed. Which, if anybody's met the guys from Fierce, it was Big Dave, and he was taller than the shed.
Okay. Did he know it was a shed when he came down?
I don't know, but he turned up. We then took him out for drinks around Liverpool and gave him what I think was his best picture of his life. And me and him had like a 45-minute conversation about our love of brown ales.
Okay. Lukewarm brown ales. Love it like an Englishman.
Our just love of brown ales in general, whether they're cold, hot, I don't give a crap. I just want a lot of brown ale. That's it.
Okay. Well, have you made one?
We've done one. Ben doesn't allow me to brew many of them, but I'm going to convince him to brew more of them.
Like Ben doesn't allow me. So what I need to do in a week or so is get Ben on there and get his half of the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen him do lots of chats like this with people. I watched quite a few.
He does. Ben's even got his own podcast as well. If anybody's interested,
Goodness, there you go.
It's a wrestling podcast called the Untitled Wrestling Podcast.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to watch that. Listen to that.
Yes.
Watch it. Listen to it.
Yeah, listen to it. They do.
Where can I find it?
All the platforms, so Spotify, Twitch, everything else, whatever. I don't know where they come out, but yeah, because Ben's a big AEW guy, so he does all the AEW podcasts.
Oh, I'm not talking to you anymore. Then you can stick your belly rolls warm.
I'm the sales guy. I sell the beer. But
you don't really. You just phone me for 15 minutes every Monday and chat about nothing.
Exactly, and then just send you some beer.
There we go.
Yeah, he does that. They do live watch alongs, so I join them occasionally. We do watch alongs to all the wrestling shows.
Oh wow!
Things. So yeah, it's good. It's a really in terms of sort of analysis and details of wrestling and how things go of all things, both AEW and WWE and TNA. In fact, the Untitled Wrestling Podcast is definitely one to watch.
Yeah, TNA's just hard work with no crowd. I try.
TNA's
and the Russian's good, but it's hard with no crowd.
TNA's hard at best of times.
Oh, it's far too much Don Callis as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's just another conversation.
I'll take like 5 minutes in with a Kenny Omega, and that's about it.
I don't mind Kenny Omega. It's bloody Don Callis that does my in. And why do we need a Good Brothers there? They chose to sign with TNA, so sold off back to TNA.
Because they make all the dick jokes. Just watch if you want to see them guys, watch BTE and just watch all the dick jokes.
No, I watch BTE. I'd rather watch Sammy Guevara's vlog. It's far funnier.
True.
Right. So Top Rope have got a podcast. The Untitled Wrestling Podcast?
Untitled Wrestling Podcast.
So look it up on all the places, Spotify, Apple Music, and all of those other ones, which I think is brilliant. This is the first of hopefully a weekly occurrence for me as well. Lucky enough to get Neil today, and I've got a few more lined up. I've got Johnny from the Craft Beer Channel coming in July. I'm just waiting for a confirmation of that. And I've got a few other brewers just waiting to confirm, so we're going to do that and do this weekly and just chat about beer and nonsense, really. So if you like this, subscribe, go to the website, buy Top Rope beers. If you've never heard of Top Rope, then please search them out. They are really, really good beers. They're just cracking. And the variations they get, and, we've just sold the last, what's it called? The bloody Mark Henry one. The whole of Pan of Chocolate, just amazing. It's just the beers are just top quality. I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell us they're amazing. You should go get the old beers. They just are. I mean, this is my favourite. I go on and on. People get bored of me going on about this beer, but this is probably my favourite beer at the moment. If I can I do get this every week. It's never not in my fridges anymore.
Well, I'll do the plug. TopRopeBrewing.com. If anybody's interested, you want to get it from us directly. TopRopeBrewing.com. You can buy all of our beers on our web shop. If not, go to the Crafty Duck. Go to your local venue. Still, as I've been saying for the last 18 months, go and buy locally. Go to your pub. If it's a pub that's like Crafty Duck that's open, go and buy from them. If they're not open because they're waiting for restrictions to lift, go to them. They're probably still selling beer to you. Please.
Well, this is their website, guys.
Yeah,
TopRopeBrewing.co.uk. Look, if you click on about, you get .com. You get to see a couple of mugs. Look at these. Nice knees, Neil.
That's a very old picture, that one, to be fair. Those are my pre-30-year-old knees, so that they still work, unlike these ones. But no, 100%. Go and speak to your locals, speak to your local bottle shops, your local pubs, buy beer from them, because if they don't exist, then I can't sell kegs and I won't exist. So simple as that. So please, still to this day, as much as you can go and buy beers directly from a brewery, do that once or twice. But in the meantime, go to your local pub, go and buy beer from them, whether it be a can, whether it be a bottle. I think places like the Crafty Duck, they do takeouts. So if you don't want to sit in a pub and drink beer, go into them or go onto their website, buy some beer for takeout, get a couple of cans, take them home with you, and drink them at home whilst you're watching Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever.
Yeah, we sell growlers, plastic ones, glass ones. We've got milk cartons. We do everything, mate.
Yeah, so
people are still going to the parks and enjoying it.
Yeah, 100% do that. I mean, obviously, if anybody wants to go to a supermarket and buy beer, that's fine. But I can't judge you in the slightest because I do the same thing.
No,
I've got a Tesco like 5 minutes from my house. So I get all the Vault City, the Cloud Waters, all that kind of stuff. That all happens, and we all struggle. We all need to have that fix. But
no, I mean, I covered the Cloudwater Vault City in one of my YouTube videos, and it was kind of like, why has everyone gone off on one? Do you want Cloudwater not to be here?
Yes.
They've had the same shit 18 months that everyone else has, and they're trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
But then again, today I got 3 new Cloudwater beers in today. They're made by them, not by Brewdog.
Yes, 100%. So yeah,
and I got 3 Vault Cities in that I've sold most already. That they won't get in Tesco's, but they're brilliant. They're a brilliant starter place, and people get used to. Oh, this is a bit more expensive than my 4 cans of Carlin. Well, bloody, of course it is. But it's cracking quality with effort and a story behind it, not made under license in bloody off the M4 in Reading.
Exactly. So yeah, absolutely. As I say, if anybody wants to come to me and buy beers from my website, topropebrewing.com. Do it. I'm not going to say don't do it.
I would suggest it highly.
But if you that's if you want the full range, or you want a tasting pack, or you want to experience everything that we do. If you don't, if you want a couple of cans along with a couple of cans from 5 other breweries, go to the Crafty Duck. Go to whichever is your local pub. And if any of your local pubs want to get me in, message me. I'm on Twitter at TopRopeNeil. My email address is just neil@topropebrewing.com. Message me, say hello, talk to me. I like talking to people, so feel free to message me at any point in time. Go on our social media pages, Top Rope Brewing, at Top Rope Brewing on Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. Just drop us a message. It's me that responds to them, so I'll say hi to anybody.
And there you go. That's bloody brilliant. The website, the web address is running across the bottom for you guys. crafty.co.uk and topropebrewing.com. This has been James and he has been Neil. This has been bloody great. We've enjoyed ourselves. We drank some cracking beers. And all I can say, mate, is thanks for this. No doubt I'll catch up with you later on. But thanks for watching. Like us, subscribe to us, follow us on social. Do the same to Neil as well. And we're going to say thank you and good night.
Good night.